The sky over Tokyo turned an eerie shade of red as the sun dipped below the horizon. The city's neon lights flickered to life, illuminating the towering skyscrapers that stretched toward the heavens. A sense of unease hung in the air, an almost tangible pressure that sent shivers down the spines of those who dared to walk the streets that night. Something was coming, something monstrous. Deep beneath the earth, in the abandoned subway tunnels that had long been sealed off, something stirred. It moved with an unsettling grace, its long, skeletal frame glistening under the dim emergency lights that still flickered after decades of neglect. The creature's black exoskeleton made it nearly invisible against the darkness, its elongated head tilting slightly as it sensed the vibrations above. Xenomorphs were born to adapt, to survive, and to conquer. This one, a queen unlike any other, had found its way to Earth through means unknown, and it had begun to lay its eggs in the depths of the city. Meanwhile, out in the Pacific Ocean, something far greater awoke. The waters churned violently as an immense figure rose from the depths. Godzilla, the king of monsters, let out a thunderous roar that echoed across the ocean, sending waves crashing against the coastline. He had sensed a disturbance, an unnatural presence that did not belong on this world. His dorsal fins crackled with blue energy, signaling his growing agitation. Something was wrong in Tokyo, and he would not let it go unanswered. The night air grew thick with tension as the first signs of the xenomorph infestation began to surface. Reports of strange, insect-like creatures attacking citizens spread like wildfire. Panic gripped the city as military forces were deployed, their weapons useless against the relentless horde of xenomorph drones that now swarmed the streets. The Queen, massive and menacing, emerged from the underground, her biomechanical form towering over the chaos she had unleashed. As Tokyo burned, Godzilla arrived. His colossal form crashed through the harbor, sending tidal waves through the streets as he let out another earth-shaking roar. His glowing eyes scanned the destruction before settling on the Queen. There was no hesitation. This was an enemy that needed to be eradicated. The Queen shrieked in response, her claws flexing as she prepared to defend her brood. The xenomorphs, sensing the threat, swarmed toward Godzilla like a relentless tide, their acid-filled mouths gnashing with hunger. Godzilla's tail swept through the streets, sending entire swarms flying into buildings. His claws tore through the nightmarish creatures with ease, but for every drone he destroyed, more took their place. The Queen was breeding faster than he could destroy them. With a deep inhale, Godzilla's dorsal fins flashed a brilliant blue. The air hummed with energy as he unleashed a concentrated atomic breath, a beam of pure destruction that incinerated everything in its path. Xenomorphs screeched as they were vaporized instantly, their acidic blood hissing as it splattered against the ruined concrete. The Queen, however, leaped out of the blast's path with unnatural speed, scaling a skyscraper in seconds. She was a different kind of threat, one that even the king of monsters had never faced before. She was intelligent, cunning, and she fought not just with brute strength but with strategy. From her high vantage point, she let out a high-pitched signal, calling upon her warriors to attack from all sides. Godzilla found himself overwhelmed as they latched onto his scales, their acidic blood burning through even his resilient hide. He roared in agony, shaking them off with violent thrashes, but the damage was done. The Queen wasted no time. She launched herself from the building, landing on Godzilla's back with a sickening crunch. Her tail wrapped around his throat, constricting with deadly force. Her claws tore into his flesh, and her secondary jaw shot forward, aiming for a critical strike. But Godzilla was no ordinary beast. He had faced countless foes, each deadlier than the last, and he had survived them all. With a tremendous surge of power, Godzilla summoned his nuclear pulse. A blinding shockwave of blue fire erupted from his body, blasting the queen off him and sending her crashing into a burning street below. The xenomorphs around him disintegrated instantly, their bodies unable to withstand the sheer force of his raw energy. Godzilla stomped toward the fallen queen, his massive foot crushing the lifeless bodies of her brood beneath him. The queen struggled to rise, her exoskeleton cracked and smoking. But even in her weakened state, she refused to submit. With a final, desperate move, she lunged at Godzilla, her tail poised to pierce his heart. But Godzilla was faster. His massive jaws clamped down on her, his teeth sinking deep into her biomechanical flesh. The queen let out a horrific screech as he lifted her into the air and, with a tremendous show of strength, slammed her into the ruins of Tokyo Tower. The impact sent shockwaves through the city, and the tower collapsed upon the queen's broken body. Godzilla stepped back, his glowing eyes fixed on his defeated foe. The queen twitched one final time before falling still. Her reign of terror finally ended. Godzilla let out one final roar, a declaration of his victory and a warning to any who dared threaten his world. As the fires of battle burned around him, he turned and lumbered back toward the ocean, disappearing into the depths from which he came. The king of monsters had prevailed once more, and the earth was safe, at least for now. But deep within the ruins, something stirred. A single xenomorph egg remained intact, hidden beneath the wreckage of Tokyo Tower. It pulsed with an eerie glow, its occupant waiting for the right moment to hatch. The queen might have fallen, but her legacy was not entirely erased. The Earth had not seen the last of the xenomorph threat. Miles away, in a top-secret military facility, radar operators and scientists monitored the aftermath of the battle. Data was collected, samples were taken, and in hushed voices, theories were whispered about what had transpired. A new threat had been introduced to Earth, and those in power were determined to harness its potential. If one xenomorph could challenge Godzilla, what could an army of them do? Godzilla had returned to the depths, unaware that the war was far from over. The ocean waves swallowed him, his massive form vanishing beneath the surface. But somewhere in the darkness, an unknown force was watching, waiting. The battle between the king of monsters and the xenomorphs had only just begun.